Hey guys, how's it going? SpecV here for another video, and I previously did a video on things I hate about my SpecV. Now let's do things I love about my SpecV. This car is probably my favorite car. Well, not probably, it is so far my favorite car I've ever had so far. So there's gotta be a lot of things with this car that make it my favorite. Well, not a lot, probably like 4 or 5, but let's hop into that. Things I like about this car. The interior. Interior is not bad for the most part. So even without the mods, which are honestly only the wrap on my steering wheel, and I do have an aftermarket shift knob for this, I just don't have it on me right now. I do like the infotainment for the most part. The shifter, it's still notchy. Well, the bushings haven't worn out yet, but shifter is notchy. Personally, the yellow instrument cluster gauges don't bother me, and I really like having the oil pressure gauge. The G meter, it's not as big of a deal. The oil pressure gauge is definitely awesome to have, so I really love that Nissan did that. And the red seat belts, some people think they're stupid. I personally just think they add a little extra flair, and I personally love that. So the interior is one of the things I do love about this car. Second thing I love about this car, the engine. Now, it's not that it's like the most amazing engine Nissan ever made. It's to me that it is probably one of the most unique engines Nissan has ever made. Let me elaborate. So those of you who do know that this engine is called the QR25DE. I believe it is the second gen QR25DE engine. So it's not the exact same motor as the one in the Altima. Some people know this, some people don't. It's the Altima motor, but it has higher compression internals into it. Nissan tried to make the car a little bit more lightweight and installed this plastic intake manifold onto it. And I believe the SpecV has different cams than the Altima, but I could be incorrect on that. I'm pretty sure it does have more aggressive cams. And what I think is so neat about this motor is the only car that ever came with this QR25 is the B16 SpecV. You cannot find it in any other car. So if you ever blow it up, you're kind of fucked, unless you can find someone selling that motor or get a SpecV for cheap. But I do definitely love cars that have a special motor in it that you really can't find in any other cars. They're neat to me for that reason, and to me this SpecV is neat to me for this reason also. To say you have a motor that was only ever available in your specific car, to me it's kind of a flex point, but that's me. The third thing I love about this B16 SpecV is that little V-brace in the back. It's really, really cool that Nissan did that. The only other car I know of that has a trunk-mounted V-brace is the Hyundai Elantra N. Like, of all cars to have it, it was the Hyundai Elantra. So to me, the fact that Nissan did it before any other company, as far as I know, in a production car is really cool. And anyone that I show that trunk-mounted brace are always really surprised that the car has that from the factory. So it's just another cool little thing. No one expects it. The fourth thing I like about this car is the appearance and how it looks. A lot of people actually don't like how the B16 looks, which I've never really understood. The only B15 that I do like is where the front end looks like an R33 GTR, and let's be honest, a lot of us like that one probably for that sole reason. The B16, I like the front fascia. Like, yes, it kind of looks like a CTSV, and maybe that's what they were going for, but I like the front fascia. I love this little line going through the door to the rear. I love that. I love the body lines, and I especially love this little spoiler that they have from the factory. To me, it's just the right amount of flare. I like the taillights held. They actually kind of look aftermarket to me from factory, which to me, that just looks really cool when a manufacturer can pay attention to what the car community is doing and try to style something on their car to resemble an aftermarket part. Not saying that Nissan did this, I just think it's really, really cool. So the exterior styling is definitely something I love about this car. A lot of people don't like it, and each to their own. I don't understand the hate, but that's just me. So that is the fourth thing I love about this car. So the fifth and final thing that I love about this car is the SCR brand lineage, whatever you like to call it. To me, SCR is in a similar boat as Ford's old SVT division. I think it was Special Vehicle Team, I think is what it stood for. You know, Ford, they had the SVT Mustang, obviously. They had the SVT Focus. And I want to say they had an SVT Taurus, maybe, unless it was only the SHO. But, you know, it used to be a really respected division that made some really cool stuff. Some stuff that's still coveted and wanted by a lot of car enthusiasts. I would personally love an older Ford, an SVT Ford Focus. I think those are so neat. And then obviously the SVT Cobra R is really badass. But sidetracked a little bit, it's the forgotten division because they just moved on to Shelby again and then Roush. And to me, SCR, you know, there was the B13 SCR, and then the B15 SCR and the SCR SpecV, and then the B16 SCR and the SpecV. And then they went to the Nismo with the B17. I believe it was the B17, or was it the B18? I'm sorry, I'm still learning these chassis codes. But they just don't do SCR anymore, and it's kind of sad when you consider everyone knows about the B13 SCR, and then a lot of Nissan enthusiasts know about the Nissan Altima SCR, which it's a V6 with a 6-speed manual with a pretty comfy interior and pretty torquey because it's basically a front-wheel drive 350Z. It's respected. But the Sentras, but the B16 Sentra obviously never was. A lot to me that, fuck. To me, to own this car, knowing that SCR used to be such a really cool performance division, makes owning the car even cooler, because what I've grown to really love about my ownership with this so far, and I would love to do what my ownership experience with this car has been video. Sorry for all the stumbling, but the SCR thing is what makes owning this car, at least in my opinion, so much fun. It has made the ownership so cool. Is when you meet people that used to have a Sentra SCR, all they'll do is talk good things about it usually, and they're really happy to see someone else that's still modifying these cars and having fun with these cars. Or to me, what gets really fun is you'll meet hardcore Nissan enthusiasts that even know about the Altima SCR but didn't know about the B16 Sentras. It's really, really cool to see the surprise in their face that they get when they see that not only do you have such a niche car from this forgotten performance brand, but that you're still modifying it and there's still a community for it. And it's really, really cool to own this type of car for that reason. So the fifth thing I love about this car has been owning such a niche car that either a lot of people don't know exists, or when you meet the people that do know it exists, you're almost buddies instantly because you kind of have a kinship over this car from such a forgotten performance division. And hell, SpecV, it gets really cool for me when I'll tell people that Nissan USA wanted to call this the V-Spec, the Sentra SCR V-Spec. And Nissan Japan basically said, nah, fuck you, can't use V-Spec, so they changed it to SpecV. which I've considered putting a V-Spec badge on this car just for the joke, because those of us in the community that would know why it's called SpecV would get the joke. But being able to tell people that this is basically, well, not basically, this is the Sentra V-Spec, which we all know, obviously V-Spec with the GTRs, it makes it that much cooler to own this type of car. So yep, that is the 5th thing I do love about this car. The lineage of SCR. I guess you could say V-Spec as well, but I guess you could say that might be a little bit subjective. Yeah, I'm sorry for how much I stumbled during this video. That's a problem I'm still trying to rectify with myself, is not stumbling over my words and speaking faster than I can think. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and please subscribe. And I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.